Starting my journey in my home state and seeing what Washington's wine industry was all about through the eyes of Longshadow's vintners was a memory that I'll never forget. And now, after snowmobiling with the Smith team in Idaho and drinking Pinot Noir in Willamette Valley with Melissa at Stoller Vineyards, I'm going to head south and see what wines are coming out of Russian River Valley. So I woke up this morning down at Youngberg Hill, which is a winery as well as a bed and breakfast that's located just outside of McMinnville. And after spending a few days there, it was really nice because we just got to enjoy this own mansion to ourselves for a few days. And we decided to hit the road today. And I wanted to go down the Oregon coast, but you really can't get this Pacific Northwest forest right next to the beach like you can here. We're on the drive now, headed to San Francisco to check out the town, maybe a few wine bars, and then it'll be up to the Russian River Valley in Sonoma to get our wine drinking on again. Woo! Over the past couple of decades, San Francisco has transformed into one of the most booming cities in the world. As one of the hubs for the tech world and one of the largest cities sitting next to Napa and Sonoma, San Francisco has become a hotspot for youth culture, music, art, and of course, food and wine. So after seeing a bit of San Francisco by day, I decided to come down from my room for a nice glass of wine. I'm at the Clift Hotel. I can't decide what I gotta do. I gotta wake up early and go to Russian River Valley and get a bit of wine drinking on with a winemaker, but I might wet my palate before I do so. See where the night takes me in San Francisco. The Russian River Valley is actually founded by the Russians, and the Russians arrived around 1812. And it was around that time that they decided to plant the first wine grapes at Fort Ross. Now, this isn't 100% certain, yet it is believed that Fort Ross was the location for the first wine grapes. I went down to the river mouth of the Russian River, right where it intersects with the Pacific Ocean, and there was a seal colony sitting there, and you could watch the seals actually surfing up the river right against the rip. This region, I found out, is much more diverse than I remember. I know it's settled right in the middle of a pine forest, yet I didn't know that the redwoods come as far low as we are now. Not just the Redwood National Park further north by the border, but I'm standing in a redwood forest right in the Russian River Valley. After Prohibition, it took a little while for the Russian River to really find its way again. And in the 60s, there was a guy by the name of Bob Season who was advising for agriculture for the University of California. In 1983, the ABA was firmly established here, and Russian River was recognized as what it is now to be a world-renowned producing area.
When I was looking at careers, wine wasn't really at the top of my list. I was very lucky to kind of stumble into the wine business. The whole beauty of the wine industry as I came to learn more about it, take classes, come out of the industry and work is it's a really interesting blend of science and art. It's great. I get to go run around in vineyards and, work with something as fun as wine. I was really very interested in making Pinot Noir, and this was the place to be back then to really kind of be on the cutting edge. So I was lucky enough to come to work in the very building that we sit in today at Hartford Court.
What we are going to talk about is something that is so essential, so important, and so difficult within the wine industry. And it happens more frequently for winemakers in the wintertime, and that's tasting wine. Smell some vials then.
The whole idea was to standardize people's descriptions of wine, obviously, so we're all talking about the same things. And if you do experiments, you want to make sure everybody's talking about apples and apples, literally,
Yeah. There's the compounds that are represented from those fruits that you smell that are the same compounds in the wine that you're tasting. So not the actual same fruit, but an off-put of fermentation, the influence of the oak, maybe a fault that actually makes its way into the wine, hopefully not, but there's different compounds that represent the vastness of the aroma that you can smell in your wine. For the three varieties, Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, Zinfandel, lemon, green apple, raspberry, is that blackberry?
I think it's blackberry, yeah.
Blackcurrant, and clove. We've got a pretty good knowledge base, and it's fresh in our minds, and so now I want to go down into the cellars here at Hartford and taste through some of the wines.
You're kind of seeing the fruits of your labor from that busy harvest time. You're seeing the wines sort of start to open up and show their true personality. It's kind of a maintenance period, but it's also exciting because we're starting to do our first real critical tastings of these wines. Certainly citrus and some green apple is here.
I could get the green apple,
And this is a brand new French oak barrel, first use, so you're also getting a little bit of the wood component, so a little hint of vanillin. And a little bit of spice. A lot of things can happen in barrel as wines age. And as we're a pretty hands-off winery in terms of style, we don't do a lot of manipulation. We don't use a lot of additives. You know, the simple things that we can do, like stirring a barrel or racking a barrel, might be critical. When I grew up in Lake Tahoe, it was quite an interesting experience. You have one of the most beautiful places in the world, surrounded by mountains, skiing in the wintertime, you know, swimming, boating in the summer, fishing. It's kind of one of those perfect places to grow up.
Go to hell, fair weather friend. Go to hell, just as well.
I just got into Tahoe. I decided to try and beat the winemaker here, and I did because I need to get in a bit of tasting practice. And so I broke out the wine aroma kit, poured a wine I had from when I was in Washington State, and trying to match up what a Sangiovese should taste like and see if I can't get a little bit of practice in, because I know Jeff from Hartford is planning on schooling me with a tasting of his wines blind. So tomorrow we got to go up and do some snow biking at Sugar Bowl. Hopefully I'm not too off-key tomorrow for snow biking.
Silver-tongued seraphim circling the spire.
The Olympics helped make Lake Tahoe one of the Pacific Northwest's most well-known ski destinations, with resorts like Squaw Valley, Heavenly, Alpine Meadows, and Sugar Bowl that have been popping up. Now today, we're at Royal Gorge Resort, which is the cross-country ski destination that partners with Sugar Bowl. Here, there's 500 inches of snowfall every year. There's 200 kilometers of trails, as well as 7,500 acres of different terrain that we can go ride on. However, today, we decided to do something a bit different and go snow biking.
It's great to be back up in Tahoe, where I was born and raised. I get up here during the summer and in the winter to go skiing, but today we get to go out and try something a little different, something I've never done, ridden a snow bike.
Sons and daughters, about time we finished what we started. I believe the love I send will find its way to me. We are the young and restless, together no one can stand against us. We are the young and restless, and we are one. We are the young and restless, together no one can stand against us. We are the young and restless, we are one. We are the young and restless, together no one can stand against us. We are the young and restless, we are one.
I was so good at this when I was 5. Now, Jeff's taken off ahead of me. I'm gonna go try and catch up to him because he's getting a blind tasting ready for me.
So today we're gonna have a little fun. What I'm doing here is opening 2 bottles of Pinot Noir, 2 of our single vineyard wines. We have our Haley's Block and our Fog Dance Vineyard. And I'm gonna open up one of our single vineyard Zinfandels as well. We're gonna put them in a bag so Colin doesn't know what they are. And we're gonna see if he can tell the difference between a few of these wines.
So right now I'm trying to look for, different levels of fruit, different levels of complexity in the wines. Starting to look at the fruits on the aroma, and I'm seeing a bit lighter fruits here, things that I might say are quite characteristic of a Pinot Noir. When you're looking at the wine, first thing, check out the color, check out the clarity of the wine. Look at the hue, the outer ring of the wine there, and that's where you're gonna find that true color. Finally, smelling that wine, looking for the different kinds of characteristics and aromas on the nose. You gotta try and connect what you're finding there to what you know about wine. And then from that point, dive in, have a taste, see if you can reconfirm your thoughts from looking at it and smelling it. I thought Haley's was the floral, lighter style. Fog Dance was the blood orange, bigger fruits, and then Zinfandel. So A, is it the Zin? Let's see.
Bang!
Got it. Wine B, is this the Fog Dance?
Wine B, Fog Dance.
It was the, yeah, it was the
Haley's. Oh, that was fun though. Congratulations. You did very well.